share this new presentation. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to share this new presentation. Today, we will talk traveling post office, part number 3, Oriental Railway. You remember we have been in the part number 1, the Central Railway, and the part number 2, we have been Northern Railway. Today, we will talk about Oriental Railway. You know, in Guatemala, there were 7 different lines. And in this case, well, we will talk about Oriental Railway. You can see this stance in commemoration, this issue of December 28, 1929, commemorating the inauguration of the Eastern or Oriental Railway connecting Guatemala and El Salvador. You can see a cover commemorating the inauguration of the Oriental Railway on December 28, 1929. A little story. 1898, President Jose Maria Reina Barrios was assassinated. Later, one of the most nefarious characters in Guatemala history, Manuel Estrada Cabrera, came to power. In 1993, the government contracted Adolf Benz to build the 112 kilometers, more or less 70 miles, between Zacapa and Yatu. Today, Yatu is the current constant between Guatemala and El Salvador. This project suffered several lengthy work stoppages, bankruptcies, and contract change before International Railways of Central America finally complete the line in the 1929. You can see this beautiful mark in commemoration of the inauguration of the Oriental Railway. This mark is was December 28 and 1929. You can see on the right, Zacapa station. This picture is more or less 70s. This Oriental Railway crossed the departments of Zacapa, Chiquimula, and Jutiapa. You can see this Chiquimula, this is Zacapa, is the department, the Zacapa, department of Zacapa, Chiquimula, and Jutiapa. Line train that went from Zacapa to Yatu. This is the border with El Salvador. Zacapa, Chiquimula, Ipala, Agua Blanca were the most important cities or stations on this railway. You can see this picture on the left, Zacapa station, more or less the 30s, and Chiquimula station, this picture is more or less the 80s. We can talk about the Oriental Railways marking type R. We know only one. This one, Guatemala type R, number 11, línea Guatemala Chiquimula. Type R marks were used from 1927 to 1946. They are the first day stamps with a single sequence of numbers. Each line was assigned from the 1 to 3 numbers. In this case, for example, Northern and Central Railway. But in our case, Oriental Railways, we had once Línea Guatemala-Chiquimula, only one. Its general characteristics are the following: diameter 24-28 millimeters with the stands, without the abbreviation number, without, can you see? Only word 11 means 11. Used for the word number and the first line of the text. A text in 4 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, Línea Guatemala-Chiquimula. This type R has 4 noun subtypes: subtype 1, subtype 1A, subtype 2, and subtype 3. Exists other Oriental Railways postmark type rep without numbers. For example, this one is called subtype 1, say Zacapa, Frontera, Guatemala CA for Central America. You can see the station, the Zacapa station in the terrace, more or less. This is subtype 1, type R with the numbers. We have other type R non-numbers with the numbers, with the word says Zacapa, Frontera, Rep de Guatemala, Red for República, Republic in English, America Central. You can see cover circulating January 7, 1942. Can you see Zacapa, Frontera, Rep for República, in English, República de Guatemala, America Central. The marks type S, we had many markings in Oriental Railways. The type S was the second postmark that was used for a long time. Not only does it have the same subtypes 1 and 2 of the type R, the numbers were resigning again. This type size has 4 noun groups with the respective subtypes. Group 1 is now for the year 1934. It has subtype 1 and 2. Group 2 begins in March 1946. Each line has its own series of number, diameters more or less 23 millimeters. Subtype 2, with dashes blocks of letters here, 21 millimeters height. Group 3 begins January 1949, 22 millimeter diameter. And subtype 2 with dashes block letters with 22, 25, or 20 millimeters. Within this, there are. We had 2 variants. Variant 1, known for NO, or variant 2, número. Group 4 begins November 1951. This is a new numbering, or number 7 from 16 to 19 are spelled up. And this summary table is very clear. We have line name Guatemala Chiquimula, line number 11, and year 1936. Group 1, subtype 1. Can you see subtype 1? Subtype 1. Can you see subtype 1, subtype 2, and group number 1? Line name Zacapa and G2. Line numbers, we had 3 line numbers, 1, 2, 3, and the year 1946. Group 2, subtype 2. Guatemala and Yatu is the other line 9. They have 3 line numbers, 11, 12, 30. Beginning of the years, 1949, and the group 3. What is the group 3? Can you see? This is the characteristics. Zacapa, Guatemala, we had 3 line numbers, 11, 12, 30, and it begins years 1948 and group number 3. Line name, Guatemala, Zacapa, and Yatu. Line number 11, 12, and 30. And year 1951, a group number 4. Can you see a characteristic of the number 4? Say, for example, from the 16 to 19 are spelled out. For example, here, type S, group 3, line 11. Group 3, line 11. What year? 1949. We were talking about Guatemala and Yatu. I put this nomenclature as group 3, line 11 for this case. You can see different covers. Type S, for example. Guatemala, type S, group 3, line 11. This other Guatemala, type 6, group 3, line 11. This type S is very common with respect to the others. With respect to the type R, is more difficult to find. For this reason, you can see more pictures about type S in this presentation. This is others covers. Guatemala type S, group 3, line 12. Es número 12, línea Guatemala and Yatu. On the date, 3 March 1949. This is the same situation. Type S, group 3, line 12. We had other samples. Número 12, línea Guatemala and Yatu. We are talking about Guatemala type S, group 3, line 12. Here we had número 13, línea Guatemala and Yatu. This is Guatemala type S, group 3, line 30. This is the date is the 1949. All is pictures of group 3. We had other type S, group 3, line 30. Can you see? Número 13, línea Guatemala and Yatu. In the right, we had the beautiful picture from Ipal Station. This is more or less 20 or 30s. We have other pictures of the Ipal Station today. You can see now it's a marking for the fruits. So. And all stations today don't exist many from due of the government lost importance on the these buildings and infrastructure. This is the problem in our countries and Central America. Don't careful with the buildings and structures. We had other example, Guatemala Type S Route 3 line 30. The year is 1949. We had group 4. This is different to group 3. You can see this marking has 3 names: Guatemala, Zacapa, and Yatu. We had Type S group 4, line 12. The year is 1951. This is the complete cover. This is another example. Número 13, línea Guatemala, Zacapa, and Yatu. It's very important we remember what this marking always has 4 lines. Número 13, línea Guatemala. You can see the line number 4 has 2 names, Zacapa and Yatu. The difference is in the line 4, we have 2 named cities, Zacapa and Yatu in this case. We had the postmark Type W1. Guatemala Type W1 is from 1942 and 1946. These types ambulantes were used from the 1942. The number cancels corresponding to the assignments before March 1946. Most canceled lack numbers. For the Oriental Railways, there are 2 postmarks. Guatemala Zacapa. In this case, you can see the pictures. Say the word Guatemala Zacapa. Línea Guatemala Zacapa. Correos Nacionales Ambulante. O sea, this is the date. And the other postmark is the same. The difference is the word here. Zacapa, Guatemala. There are those postmarks for Type W1. Other postmark is the Type X. Guatemala Type X is from 1946 and 1955. The Type X ambulance markings seen so are unnumbered. You can see the has number, only the date, Correos Nacionales Ambulante, and the name of the line. In this case, Línea Zacapa, Guatemala. For the Oriental Railway, there are 3 postmarks. And this is subtype 1, lower half circle. Lower half circles is this. Can you see the word Línea Zacapa, Guatemala? And the subtype 2 is wavy line. It's to say for the wavy. We had 2 lines, Línea Guatemala Zacapa and Línea Zacapa Guatemala. So the difference is the line. In this case, subtype 1 is lower half circle, and the subtype 2 is the wave line. It says it's wave line. We had the cover circulate on May 18, 1948 with the mark Type X, subtype 1. It say subtype 1 is lower half circle. Line Zacapa, Guatemala. Other important group and instance is the Type S. This postmark is more or less 25 millimeters in diameter and was authorized on March 1, 1952. But copies has been circulated a few days before. Some lines receive different numbers. The word Ambulante Postal on the 24 or 27 millimeters block. And the word, in this case, has 5 lines, but the word is the same as the position. We agree, we add ambulante postal, line number 1, line number 2, número 11, line number 3, línea, number 4, Guatemala, and number 5, Zacapa and Guiatú. For the Guatemala, Zacapa and Guiatú line, the numbers are 11, 12, 30, and 40. We have the table, it's very clear. Line Guatemala, Zacapa, and Guiatú, line number 11, and year 1952, belongs group 1. Number 12 is the same, group 1, 30, and 41. The difference is 15, but the year is different too. And the group is number 2. We have a sample here. Ambulante postal número 11, línea Guatemala, Zacapa, and Guiatú. Type S, group 1, line 11. We have other beautiful marking type IP. This postmark is 23 millimeters in diameter. The blocks of letters omits the word line. Don't have. You can see the words número 15, Guatemala and Guiatú. Description of the day stand was simplified to ambulante postal, separate by hyphens. You can see cover circulate in Agua Blanca, Department of Jutiapa, to Guatemala City in the 1960. We have the Guatemala type 1979. You can see the Guatemala Times, Zacapa and Guiatú, number 1. Can you see ambulante postal, number 1? This postmark is 30 millimeters in diameter. We reproduce the marking as is. After ambulante postal, a black spot or poorly elaborate, number 1 is observed. You can see this is covered. The number is more clear here, more or less. This cover circulating San Jose de la Arada, Department of Chiquimula to Guatemala City on April 18 and 1980. This covers type 1979. I had observed, or I had found the people on the interior of the Guatemala use many the ambulante postal.
Okay, I don't have that.
We had, for example, the railway, the correspondence was used from the companies. The companies, IRCA, a United Free Company, banks is very common. But in this year, 1979 or 80s or 90s, you can see more covers used for the common people. This is the difference. I have not seen covers on this 1979 or 80s used from, for example, United Free Company or IRCA. Why? Because these companies, with the time, will disappear in importance and influence in Guatemala. But the people take this position. And thanks for these people, because for these people, we had these samples and covers. This is other cover. Guatemala times Zacapanguiatú number 2. This postmark is 30 millimeter diameter. We reproduce the marking as is. After Ambulante Postal, the number 2 is observed. Cover circulate in Ipala, Departamento of Chiquimula to Guatemala City. You can see the common people used to use the Ambulante Postal or traveling post office. It's very common, found many covers made for people inside of the Guatemala and Chiquimula, Jutiapa, Zacapa. We have other marking Guatemala time 1977, 1979. This postmark is a liner and now by the numbers 1 and 2. Few specimen has been registered. The Zacapanguiatú line was closed in the 1982. You can see the word Zacapanguiatú and Ambulante Postal number 2. We have the sample. It's a discover circulate with Zacapanguiatú Ambulante Postal. Discover was sent from Ipala to Guatemala City. You can see Zacapanguiatú Ambulante Postal number 1. This is another sample. Discover was sent Chiquimula to Ciudad de Guatemala. This is another example. Discover was sent Santa Rosa la Cuesta. Santa Rosa la Cuesta is a little town in the San Jose Arada municipio. Municipio is like condado in the United States. It's very similar. In Guatemala, we had departamento, it's department, but department is divided in municipios. It's like estado and condado. The difference is it's big as United States, right? But Santa Rosa la Cuesta is municipio. From San Jose la Arada, Santa Rosa la Cuesta is a little town in the municipio of San Jose de la Arada in the Chiquimula department. Many cover from the inside of Guatemala. I like it. This is other of the same place, Santa Rosa, in the San Jose la Arada. This postmarking Guatemala, Zacapanguiatú Ambulante Postal number 2. This marking is beautiful because it's this kind of postmark. It's a postmark intermediate city of Chiquimula. What makes this 1928 Zacapa Chiquimula postmark unique is the cancellation prepared for a train line for an intermediate city. In this case, Chiquimula, which was used for a short period of the time while the main line of Zacapanguiatú was being finished. There are a couple of similar examples of cancellation on intermediate cities, as in this case of the train lines that join Escuintla and Ayutla, because the line was expanded many times, but it has not been known about the longer train lines that join to Guatemala City and Bosquos. If you remember on the last publication of the El Quetzal, I wrote about the postmark intermediate. I found the postmark in San Antonio Suchitepeques, Yutla. It's the same case for this Zacapa Chiquimula. This cancellation prepared for a train line for intermediate city. Why? Because the government don't finish the complex line. If for this reason we have these examples. For this reason, these examples are very strange to find. I have been only this one. I remember this. I believe this piece is from David Reset. I don't remember. I remember the, for example, in my case, my postmarks is only 1, 2. I found different stands separate, but I found the cover 2. But it's very strange because this postmark intermediate was used for a short period of time, while the main line was being finished. This is the message about the kind of the marking, post-marking intermediate. The interesting thing about the Zacapa Chiquimula postmark is that this is the date, July 30, 1928, when the Zacapa Frontera marking, which is the oldest documented in the Cecilia Rousseau's world, dates back to 1931, but it's correct. Why? For the last explanation. This is the intermediate city. Was due for a short period of time. In other words, it appeared 2 years before the Zacapa and Guiatu, or Oriental Railway line, was inaugurated in December 1929, but finished up. But this doesn't mean, but the people don't use the other lines. In this case, from Zacapa to Chiquimula. This news marking from 1928 proves that there was already a postal service before the line's inauguration. In addition, this envelope or cover presents another postmark from Guatemala and Puerto Barrios. It's a beautiful cover that belongs to the Northern Railway, which makes it a very interesting piece. My bibliography from George Kenneth Klutz, articles in the Quetzal magazine numbers 127 and 128, published in January and February 1961. You can see it's beaten still. The most important and beautiful word for me, Cecile Rousseau. I don't understand like she worsened, because today we have more information. No more information. It's easy to find in the internet and other platforms. But Cecile Rousseau, for me, is extraordinary job, really. I have read this postal market in Guatemala is very, very complete. In my case, I have done the update, but the old structure of the information is I believe 80% from 80% from Cecile Grousson. Cecile Grousson, for me, is the queen in this type of job, really. And thanks to the International Society of Guatemala Collectors for the openness and dissemination of knowledge. Many thanks to Michael Blue and David Reisema for the philatelic material illustrations, and many thanks to David Lewin for his explanations and passions. Thank you. Here, all locomotive in the old Zacapa station.
Yuri, that was wonderful. Great presentation.